Hello and welcome to the Crimewatch Roadshow. For the whole of June, we're live from all around the country. We are bringing Crimewatch to you. This week, we're in the northwest of England and Rav Wilding is there right now. Rav.
Good morning, Sophie. Yes, today I'm in Sharsden, which is South Manchester, and all month we're live tackling those crimes which are happening right underneath our noses. Robbers, vandals, shoplifters. But today, it's a burglary special, and there'll be more on that later.
And we're making some good progress on some of the cases we've shown.
We are, yes. Yesterday we were live from that salon in Bolton, and before we went off air we had 4 calls naming who people thought was the offender, so that's very, very encouraging.
This morning we also have cases from across the UK. Our number is there on screen, so if you can help, do get dialing. And coming up, the man at a William Hill bookies who's feeling lucky. There's no one at the tills, so he helps himself. Who is he? And we're out with the police as they respond to 999 calls.
We're attending now to a burglary which occurred overnight at a residential dwelling.
Just go straight for the address.
It's quite scary to know that somebody's been, so close to one of your children.
But first, Rav, and your first case this morning, Rav.
Well, we're going to have the clues, hopefully, on a rude and very, very violent awakening.
Dale and Abby moved to Sharsden this January. It was a brand new estate and they were looking forward to building a life in the area.
Dale and I met when we were working in a bar in Cheadle.
We've been together for
about a year and a half.
half.
It's close to my work, so it's easy for me to get there.
It's close to my family, it's close to my children. It's been great living in this apartment.
But one spring night and a split-second decision changed everything.
It's just not a comfortable place to be no more. I'm not secure in my own home.
That night, the couple didn't have any plans. It was Abby's birthday and they decided on a quiet night in.
We did plan to go out because it's my birthday on the Sunday, so but because he booked me a holiday for my birthday, we just decided to stay in and use the money that we're going to use on holiday instead. So.
It was a decision they would live to regret.
We went to bed really early that night. We got in bed at 9 o'clock in the evening.
It wasn't long before sweet dreams turned into nightmares.
We'd both been to sleep for a couple of hours, and then we got awakened by a load of screaming and shouting outside the main doors of our apartment block. I got up to shut the window, and as I shut the window, something got thrown at my window.
They were screaming as well as shouting and arguing with each other.
So I put a pair of pants on and I went outside, and there was a girl stood to my right, and I walked past her because I didn't think she had anything to do with it. And I said to the people who were just getting in the car, they were standing outside the car, can you keep the noise down? My children are in bed, I'm trying to get to sleep.
In a flash, Dale was attacked.
Hello, police emergency. Some girls just come off the throne something and they just attacked my boyfriend.
Well, I'm with DC Brian Davidson, Dale's girlfriend, Abby, and Dale himself, who lives to tell the tale after that truly shocking night. And we'll have more on that later.
Thanks, Rav. Well, remember, we're here all morning, so if you can help us, call 08000 468 999, or you can text on 63399. Text CW space and then your message. That space is really important. Also coming up on this morning's show, our correspondent, Dave Guest, is at a jewellery shop in Cheshire, which was recently cleaned out of all its stock, wasn't it, Dave?
Yes, this is DeMille's Jewellers here in Bramhall. This is DeMille's Jewellers here in Bramhall. Thieves managed to clear this place out within the space of 90 seconds. We've got CCTV and pictures for you to view a little later.
Dave, thanks. Also this morning, the couple who feel they have to lock their bedroom door to keep safe at night.
This is our bedroom door, and then as I close it, I lock it again, and we just lock every door in the house. And this is how we're living at the moment. You don't feel safe after feeling safe for 48 years, and then suddenly you're frightened of being in the house.
Terrible. And DI Jane Corrigan is here with Iris Bailey. She's profoundly deaf, and they want your help to catch the robbers who keep conning their way into Iris's home. Plus, some of the faces most wanted by police in the north of England. Will you know any of them? More details on them in a moment. But first, keep your eyes peeled. You might just recognise one of this lot caught on camera.
We're outside an R&B club on Station Way, South East London, and it's about to get nasty. As these men pass through the crowd, tensions brew. It kicks off, and a pitched battle erupts. Most arm themselves with anything they can find. Two of them can be seen lunging at each other with a knife and meat cleaver before others join in. A couple are then chased through the streets, followed by an angry mob. It only begins to break up when the flashing lights of the police are seen. We've put a picture gallery together so you can get a closer look. It's important we find out who they are. This lanky bloke's in need of a new pair of jeans and decides to pick them up from Paul Smith's in South East London. He finds a pair he likes, but he doesn't stop to try them on. He doesn't even stop to pay for them. There he goes, walking straight out of the door. But we've got the measure of this one. He's a 34 long with a number 1 on the back of his pink top. It's not just the fashion police that would like a word, so give us his name. Majestic wine shop in South East London, and this couple certainly have a lot of bottle. With the cashier distracted, she slips into the private staff area and takes a bag, which she then gives to her partner in crime, and they leave. Who are the blonde and the bald? Let us know if you recognise them. William Hill on the Seven Sisters Road, London, and this punter's feeling lucky. There's no one at the tills, and that's when he uses a device to hook the money out of the cash trays and scarpers. Odds on we'll get him, we just need to put a name to this face.
Unbelievable. Well, if you know anyone, please do call. The numbers are on screen or text us. Right now, though, Rav is on the case of a cheeky burglar who had the nerve to break into an elderly couple's home while they were indoors.
Picture the scene. You're at home, you're settling down for dinner, you feel safe and secure. How would it feel to know that someone was in your house, unknown to you, and they were rifling through your belongings?
That's just what happened to Marie Walsh.
Well, we've lived here for 48 years. The children were born here, raised here. We've loved the house and we've felt very safe and secure. My husband and I, Jack, we were having our meal and I thought I heard the letterbox, which usually they're pushing flyers through the door about that time. So I never thought anything of it.
While Marie and Jack were eating dinner downstairs, the burglar entered the house by climbing up the drain pipe to gain access to this upstairs window.
He went up this drain pipe onto the porch roof and then he went in through that window on the left.
After climbing in through the window, he busied himself checking the drawers in the spare bedroom. Finding nothing of value, he then left the room and investigated the rest of the upstairs. He found his way into Marie's bedroom and started rifling through her drawers, helping himself to her valuables.
This was where my jewellery was, but I think we must have disturbed him. He must have heard my husband saying the lights on in the bedroom and the doors open.
The jewellery the burglar took was worth tens of thousands of pounds, and much of it had been with Marie's family for years.
I feel very sad that they're not going to be passed on again because they've gone from grandmother to my mother-in-law and then to me, and I wanted to pass them on to my daughter and my grandchildren.
It's an experience that has left Marie deeply unsettled.
Well, you feel very insecure in your own house. This is our bedroom door. And then as I close it, I lock it again, and we just lock every door in the house. And this is how we're living at the moment. You don't feel safe after feeling safe for 48 years, and then suddenly you're frightened of being in the house.
Awful to feel so vulnerable in your own home. Well, Rav is with Marie now. Rav.
Yeah, I'm with Mary now. She is distressed, but she wanted to talk to us live this morning about how this has affected her. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Now, this has been with you for years and years and years, this jewellery, but it's also not just the sentimental value, it's the financial value as well, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's very sentimental, the value. I just can't put a price on. Very expensive. Even my wedding ring's gone, and one of the repairs alone was £1,200.
That was many years ago.
That's
as well,
many years
wasn't
ago,
it?
about 20 years ago when it was repaired.
And I know this has upset you, but you showed me some pictures of you wearing this jewellery, and I do want to show the camera because there's one that caught my eye. Here's Mary wearing the jewellery with Ricky Hatton. I bet you wish he was upstairs when they were burgling your house, didn't you?
Where were you, Ricky, when I needed you?
All right. Well, listen, we're going to go and talk to the officer now and see if we've got some clues out there that can help with your case, OK?
Thank you.
Let's go and meet him. He's DI Andy Cunliffe, who's dealing with this investigation. Andy, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, this guy who did this, he seems to mean business, doesn't it? It doesn't seem like an opportunist crime.
Absolutely. He's a professional burglar, this man. He was wearing a balaclava, he was wearing gloves, and he was wearing dark clothing at a time where it's just gone dark.
OK, now you've got some sort of description of him, haven't you?
Yes, we have. We've got a witness who actually saw him without his balaclava on, getting into his vehicle. He's described as a white man with short strawberry blonde hair. He had a round face and blue eyes, and he say he was in his late 20s, early 30s.
And he's got a distinctive vehicle as well, which is on note as well.
That's correct, yeah. It was an N-registered flatback truck, the ones like a builder may use.
So it's worth keeping an eye out for that.
That's right.
And the jewellery's quite distinctive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You've seen the pictures, and what I'm appealing for is anybody who's, say, working in a second-hand shop, a pawn shop, has been offered this jewellery. I'm sure he wouldn't have kept it at the burglary. He's passed it on, so if anybody's been passed it on to or attempted to sell to, or even somebody's been in a pub, say, wearing a Gucci watch, bragging about it, give us a call.
And that's who you want to hear from. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you for joining us, Andy. Well, if you can help, the number's there on your screen, and please do give us a call.
Yes, thanks for all your calls so far. They really do make a difference. Now, for an update on some of the cases that we featured yesterday on that arsonist who did this to a bus in Stretford in Greater Manchester. We've been given a name. Police are looking into it, so thank you for that. And on the salon in Bolton, which has been burgled 3 times in the last few months, we've been given several names, which the police are now following up. And someone did recognise the EFIT of the man driving a car which killed 18-year-old Adam O'Toole in Huddersfield 2 years ago. If you have any information on this crime, do call us. We've also had some developments on last night's Crimewatch cases. Rav, what's come in?
Yeah, that was also really good. One of the first faces that we showed actually was arrested before the update programme, so you can't really ask for a lot more than that. And Claudia Lawrence was a big case we featured, the missing chef from York. We had a number of calls on her, 60 in total by the end of the programme, so that's looking really, really encouraging too.
Rav, thanks. Next, faces wanted by police in the north of England. They could be hiding near you, so have a look at these. Number 1 is Irfan Asif. Not only did he breach the conditions of his early release for robbery, but he's now wanted in connection with a kidnap and the theft of jewellery from a Cheshire jeweller's. He has a visible 3-inch cut to his right wrist and has a northern accent. Next is Paul Farrington. He's wanted in connection with an assault on a woman. Her cheekbone was fractured. He's then believed to have caused £2,000 worth of damage by smashing her car to bits. Next is 26-year-old Marvin Scott. He's wanted by police in connection with a robbery in Stockport. 2 men claimed to be doing repairs for the water board. They then pushed their way into the victim's house and stole money. Where is Marvin now? And next, Abdul Habib. He's 6'3" and has a muscular build. North Yorkshire Police want to talk to him about a case of blackmail. If you know where they're hiding, call or text. The numbers are on screen now. Or if you would like to remain anonymous, call the independent charity Crime Stoppers. Let me give you their number. It's 0800 555 111. Still to come, the takeaway with a difference. Who's the man who holds a member of staff at this pizza shop at bay while he runs off with the takings? Do you know him? Plus, how you could help catch the robbers who have been preying on a profoundly deaf pensioner. But first, back to Sharston in Manchester, where in the middle of the night, one man intervened when he heard noise outside his front door. What happened next is unthinkable.
Abby and Dale were about to go on holiday. As they had to be up early, The couple decided on a quiet night in, but things didn't go to plan.
We got awakened by a load of screaming and shouting outside the main doors of our apartment block. So I put a pair of pants on and I went outside. I was hit on the back of the head with a glass. I was staggering, and then I went to the back of the car, staggering, and then I've been hit again and I fell back at the side of the car, stuck in between the curb and underneath the car. And then that's when they've all started hitting me with their feet and kicking me and jumping on me.
When I went outside to see him on the floor with people, obviously him staggering up with his face full of blood where they'd stabbed him in the head with the glass, you know, wasn't what I really expected to see. But I opened the front door and there was a girl stood there and she looked at me, she said, you know, you need to get your boyfriend inside. So I said to him, you know, if you weren't beating him up then I would do. And then they just went, and that's when Dal staggered up and I saw obviously all the blood pouring from his face and his back and everything. And then we came in and that's when I called the police.
Hello, police emergency. I've just had someone come up and throw something at my window. My boyfriend went out to ask them to shut up because they were all shouting and everything, and some girls just come up to throw something, and they just attacked my boyfriend. He's got blood pouring from his head and everything.
The injuries to my head was quite a lot of small cuts and bruises, scrapes, and then there was a large cut to the back of my head where I was hit with a glass, down to my shoulders. There was big grazes all around my shoulders where I got stuck in between the curb. I had a large slice in my back where they believe I'd been stabbed with a glass. I had quite a lot of bruises from what I believe was shoes, girl shoes, high heels, bite mark on my cheek, and chipped tooth from where he come on top of me and his teeth actually touched against my teeth, and they've chipped in three places on the front two teeth.
The doctor at the hospital and he turned around and asked if he'd been in a car accident.
The next day we went on holiday and the doctor advised me not to go into any kind of water for up to 5 days, at a minimum of 5 days. He said it could affect the stitches and it could affect the glue. The glue was on my head and the stitches were in my back. And he advised me not to go into any water for a minimum of 5 days. And I was only going on holiday for 7 days, so it's ruined my holiday as well. Every bump that you hear, every bang, every voice that you hear going up and down the stairs, people's phones that you can hear in other apartments, just at that time at night, it just affects your sleep. You just can't get to sleep as you normally would. I've not had nightmares, but I've woke up thinking I've been in the same situation when I've actually woke up because I've heard a noise, and I've instantly thought it was back to that night. Getting attacked so viciously from a girl, it's not a nice feeling. I don't know why I was attacked. Maybe it was something to do with drink, maybe it was something to do with drugs, I don't know. I don't know why I was attacked, it just happened.
Detective Brian Davidson is investigating the attack.
I'm totally amazed why the victim's been assaulted in this manner. He's a decent enough chap, you know, he's just minding his own business. At this time, I believe that there may have been a party inside one of the apartments. I believe that the people responsible have come out of this party, not with the intention of assaulting anybody in particular, but unfortunately our victim's gone out not to remonstrate with these people, just to politely ask them to be quiet. And I'm just totally amazed that he's been assaulted in this manner. I've not seen anything like it in my time.
Rav, it's a really brutal attack and all the more surprising because girls seem to be leading it.
Yeah, absolutely shocking. Having in this nice looking block of flats behind me where Dale lives, and like you say, it's even more shocking that girls were involved. Dale's a big lad and they really went for him. Well, let's talk to the officer dealing with the case, who's DC Brian Davison. Brian, good morning. Dale was nothing to do with this group?
No, nothing at all. He had no prior involvement with this group whatsoever. All he wanted to do was a quite nice sleep. We believe that these people have been inside the apartments, possibly at some sort of party. They've come outside and there's been some sort of argument. This is Wokendale. who's literally just gone outside not to remonstrate with them, just to ask them to be quiet. And
now, you got some clues, haven't you? We've got this car behind us, and this isn't the car, but this is one that's very similar to what we believe they left in.
That's correct. This isn't the vehicle involved in the incident, but Dale believes that a dark-coloured Mark IV Volkswagen Golf was involved, which the offenders left in. With regards to other clues, when police officers first attended, they recovered a quite distinctive black New York baseball cap, which we believe the male involved was wearing at the time of the assault, and also a piece of silver jewellery which had a crucifix attached to the chain, which we believe was possibly belongs to one of the females involved.
OK, and you have a description of the group?
Yeah, we've got one male who we believe is a white male, slim build, aged between 19 and 22, around about 5'10" tall, who's wearing a dark T-shirt and 3/4 length dark pants, and also the baseball cap.
Yeah.
With regards to the females, there were 3 in total, but only 2 were involved in the actual assault. Both aged around 20 years old, slim build, about 5'4" tall. One was about with shoulder length brown hair, and one had a mousy.
Well, we want to look for them. We're going to have to quickly move on and talk to Dale there, but that's exactly who we're looking for. This is like the car. It's not the car. It's like what they escaped. Dale, very quickly, you were supposed to go on holiday after this. Did you manage to get away?
Yeah, we went on holiday, but we didn't have a real good time because there's not a lot of things that we couldn't do.
Couldn't even go in the sea, could you?
No, that's the sort of couldn't go into the water for 5 days. So.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. I know it's ruined your holiday, and I wish you all the best in your recovery.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. And if you can help, please get on the phone and call the number on your screen.
Rav, you were a police officer. I mean, what would you recommend people to do if they have this problem, parties, noise, and they want to ask people to keep it down?
Well, do you know what, Sophie? This is a real tough one to judge. I think anyone should be able to talk to their neighbours and ask them to keep noise down. But as you can see in Dale's case, if there's a threat of violence, I've got to say, phone the police.
Rav, OK. Now, if you can help, the numbers are on screen, or you can call Greater Manchester Police on 0161 872 5050. Right now, though, take a look at this lot.
Now here's a takeaway with a difference. This man walks into Jenny's Takeaway, Denmark Hill, London, and it's not the pizza he's after. He attracts the attention of the bloke behind the counter and demands money. He then jumps over, and whilst holding the man at bay with one hand, robs the till with the other. Nice. We don't want him getting away with his takeaway. If you know who he is, we'd love you to give us a call. It's busy in this Vodafone mobile shop in North London, and for these 3 lads it's the perfect opportunity for a spot of shoplifting. Whilst the salesman's busy with someone else, the lad with the brown and yellow baseball cap picks up a phone off the counter. This is just a numbers game to him, and he fetches his mates. Here are some nice clear pictures of 2 of them. You can't see this lad's face, but he has a very distinctive red jacket on with the name Top Star written across the back. We've got their number, we just need their names. Haven't we seen this man before? Ah yes, and he's at it again. This time it's Tote Betting Office in South East London 4 days later. He does a good job of distracting the cashier before leaning in and taking cash from the till. Let's find this cash-grabbing joker, as he can bet we'll catch up with him sooner or later. This woman is doing a spot of retail therapy at this ghost shop in Islington, London, and just can't resist those little black dresses. Is this my size? Nah, I'll go round the other side. Still can't find it. Yep, found it. And I'll take one for my mate, thanks. Name, please.
So please, if you know something that could help, do tell us. 08000 468 999, or you can text us on 63399. Text CW space, that space is really important, and then your message. And don't forget to leave that space or your message just will not get through. Let me give you an update on a couple of cases that we've featured yesterday and today. First of all, today's we've had an interesting call, a sighting of the man that we saw earlier robbing the William Hill bookies, and also another call about a sighting of one of the wanted faces that we featured on yesterday's programme. Please do keep your calls coming though. Still to come, we're out with police on a burglary 999.
We're attending now to a burglary which occurred overnight residential dwelling.
Just go straight for the entrance.
It's quite scary to know that somebody's been, you know, so close to one of your children.
More on that later, but our next case this morning is on DI Jane Corrigan's books from the Metropolitan Police. She is here with Iris, who is profoundly deaf and has been robbed 3 times in her own home. Good morning. Thank you both very much for coming in. Jane, you tell us what has been happening to Iris.
Iris was attacked in her own home in Anerley, South East London, the end of October last year on 3 separate occasions, and we believe that all the attacks are linked. We had 2 men and a woman purporting to be from the water board, and on one occasion he pretended to be a police officer.
And they took money from her, didn't they?
They did. On each occasion they took money. On the 3rd occasion she was actually forcibly pushed into her house and her bag was taken.
And they knew, 2 of them knew that she was deaf, didn't they?
They did, because on the 2nd occasion Iris had to ask the female to write down on a piece of paper what she wanted, because obviously she can't hear. And on the 3rd occasion the man came prepared with a note saying he was a police officer. So that's how we've linked them.
Now I've written down on a piece of paper for Iris there a question I wanted to ask her, which is really, how does she feel about all this now?
Well, I feel absolutely shattered. I just didn't know what was happening. It was so bewildering. And well, I was just shattered. I just didn't understand why it was happening.
And she obviously was very trusting and let these people in. I mean, it's very, very difficult, isn't it?
It is very difficult. What I would say is that these services do offer advice for pensioners in particular, where they can call up and register and have a password so that they know the person calling at their door is from that company.
The crucial thing with this case involving Iris is that they were working in pairs, isn't it?
They were. Majority of these cases, they work in pairs. You will only see one person. They'll keep you distracted while the other person goes in and steals your belongings.
A lot of people will identify with what Iris has gone through, because obviously, you know, we'll all get people turning up on our doorsteps saying they're from the water, the gas, the electricity. How do you know if they are genuine?
Well, as I say, there's a service offered by these companies, which you can find details on the back of your bill, but also just be vigilant. If you're in any doubt, ask them to show their identification and ask to phone the company, and they can confirm whether or not they're a real caller. The same way as me as a police officer, if I turn up, they can phone and check that I am who I say I am.
And this case was in the south of east of London?
It was the end of October last year, near Crystal Palace.
DI Jane Corrigan, thank you very much. And Iris, thank you very much for coming in this morning. Lots more tips from Jane on our website. It really is worth taking a look. Go to bbc.co.uk/Crimewatch Roadshow. And if you can help, please call us 08000 468 999, or you can text us on 63399, text CW space and then your message, and don't forget to leave the space or your message won't get through. Now, since last year, burglary in Greater Manchester is up 13%. The police have a tough job on their hands catching the thieves and stopping them from breaking in the first place. Burglary is a priority for the police in Bolton. Many of these crimes could be prevented if only residents took more care and avoided basic mistakes. In many cases, the thieves have it easy. 1 in 3 burglaries in the area occur when doors and windows are accidentally left open or unlocked. Greater Manchester Police are working hard in Bolton to tackle the issue. They hit the streets offering local residents crime prevention tips and advice. 3 weeks ago, pensioner Annie Fallon was burgled, leaving her distraught. She'd been in the house at the time. Sergeant Helen Smith and Community Officer Helen Mattocks have come to see how she's doing.
Hi Annie, Sergeant Helen Smith from Astley Police Station. Do you mind if we come in?
No, not at all.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us what happened to you?
When I got up,
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
my middle door was open and the back door.
Yeah.
Then when I turned round, the top drawer was open.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to it, the purse, well, there were 2 purses, but one purse had £140 in.
The £140 was missing.
I was devastated. I was really upset. I was afraid.
Annie soon realised what had happened.
I'd left the window open.
OK.
And whoever had come must have seen the handles still up, opened the window
and just climbed in?
Just climbed in. 2 days after, my purse was found in a back street. Everything was still in, only the money wasn't in.
The fact that Annie was targeted as she slept upstairs has affected her deeply.
When it happened to me, I was ill for about 2 weeks.
Within hours of Annie's burglary, crime reduction advisors were on the scene. They fitted Annie's home with new locks and a door chimer to help prevent future burglaries.
I watch now when I'm going out and when I'm coming in, if I've locked the doors and, locked the windows, and it's made me really conscious of, being secure.
I'll make sure I visit you again, OK?
I hope so, and thank you.
OK, see you soon, Annie.
Yes, you
Bye.
will. Thank you.
Part of our day-to-day business is that we will look at what's happened overnight, and we will go and revisit burglary victims, we'll revisit vulnerable victims, and we'll also talk to their neighbours. We really need the community to engage with us and tell us who's moving about, who's going to what addresses. That information is vital to us to help us to tackle this type of crime.
Well, I'm with Sergeant Helen Smith, who you've seen from the film, and poor Annie. Was she an easy target?
Unfortunately, she was, but she's not unique. 1 in 3 burglaries in Greater Manchester are due to insecurity burglaries.
What, so like opportunist crimes?
Yes, yeah, and Annie was a victim of an opportunist going past and seeing the window insecure on this occasion.
So what information do you have regarding this case?
We haven't got a lot of information about Annie's burglary. However, if anybody saw anybody on the evening of the 5th of April from 9 o'clock onwards, right through the night till about 6:30 in the morning, if they can let us know about those people, and obviously we could eliminate those from our inquiries.
Now, what advice can you give to people so that they're not in the same boat as poor Annie was in that film?
Well, we need people to be locking the doors and locking the windows. Even if they're in the house upstairs, please lock your doors and windows downstairs. But the obvious things like fitting window locks and
burglar alarms work very nicely as well, don't they?
And marking your property with your postcode and your number as well, valuable property. And things that people don't think about, like chopping down the bushes in the front of the garden so that the front of the property is visible to the public.
Yeah, so it seems like obvious advice, but it's the stuff that really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Helen, thanks again for joining us.
Okay.
And if you can help with that case, then the number is on your screen, as usual.
Rav, thank you. Coming up, we are out with police responding to 999 calls, taking us right to the scene of a break-in.
Can't confirm how it's been, how the entry's been gained, because the occupants claim that it was securely fastened. It's their normal routine is to lock and secure all windows and doors when they go to bed. And as you can see, there's no damage to the door at all.
Right now, there's some more faces wanted by police in the north of England, but they could be hiding in your neck of the woods. Face here, number 5, Lancashire's Serious and Organised Crime Unit need your help to trace this man, 32-year-old Dion Kendrick Lee. They want to speak to Lee about cocaine, cannabis, firearms and ammunition being brought into the UK. Where is Lee this morning? Face number 6, 40-year-old Sean Anthony McMahon, originally from Birkenhead. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison for burglary. He skipped bail and hasn't been seen since. Police believe he may have returned to the Wirral area. He's recently been in Lancashire. Call if you've seen him. Number 7 here, Stuart Millard was released from prison early for burglary offences, but has since failed to meet the terms of his early release. He was last seen leaving the country on a flight from Blackpool Airport. Has he now returned? And if so, where is he hiding this morning? And number 8 here, Daniel Morgan. Police would like to speak to him in connection with the theft of a motorcycle from Brooklands in Manchester. He is also wanted for driving offences, driving without a licence and driving an uninsured car. And if you have any information on any of these faces, do call us. The number is on your screen now. Right now, though, take a look at this CCTV. The first robber heads for the back door, where the jeweller usually takes deliveries. at the door. He even knows the code to get in. But he is no courier. He bursts in with an accomplice and heads straight for the safe. And in the right-hand corner of that picture, the accomplice, was holding down the jeweller. Well, we're joined now by Dave Guest, who is inside the jewellers. Dave.
Yes, Sophie, this is DeMille's Jewellers in Bramhall. As you say, the owner was held down in a back room there. Meanwhile, here in the shop, Norma was completely oblivious to what was going on. What was the first you knew that there was a problem?
As soon as I took the second tray of jewellery into the back, into the safe room, realised that Paul had been held to the ground. He was stunned. Completely stunned by the moment. Obviously, when the robbery happened,
It must have been a horrifying experience for you all.
It was frightening, absolutely. Psychologically, obviously, for Paul, it was, and physically, but obviously for me, it was psychologically, and the rest of the team.
And very quick, 90 seconds, they cleared out most of the stock.
Absolutely, it was just surreal, unbelievable.
OK, thanks very much indeed, Norma. Well, they have changed the security arrangements here since this happened. Detective Inspector Kevin Dolan is in charge of the investigation. Who are we looking for here?
We're looking for a white male of medium build, wearing a light blue and white cap, baseball cap, a blue puffer jacket and gloves. And the second male was a black male, medium build, about 6 foot to 6'2", and he had a dark 3/4 length coat on, and he was carrying a black shoulder bag with a big strap on.
Now, they must have kept this place under surveillance for some time to know the routine of the shop.
We certainly seem to have some prior knowledge of how to get in and about the delivery dates, yes.
Is this a fairly common kind of crime?
Fortunately, it's relatively rare, and as you say, the security's been improved.
OK, thanks very much indeed. Well, you've seen the CCTV, you've seen the stills. If you recognise the faces, give us a call. The numbers are on the screen.
Dave, thank you. Well, from Bramhall to Bolton, where we're hot on the heels of burglars in the area. At Bolton Police Station, PC Shaz Hussain and PC Anna MacDonald Kabat are responding to a 999 burglary call.
We're attending now to a burglary which occurred overnight at a residential dwelling. As a result of that burglary, 2 motor vehicles were stolen with the keys, which were obviously taken from the actual address itself.
The thieves were so audacious, they broke in at night while the family was sleeping. PC Kerry Jones was first on the scene.
Can't confirm how it's been, how the entry's been gained because the occupants claim that it was securely fastened. It's their normal routine is to lock and secure all windows and doors when they go to bed. And as you can see, there's no damage to the door at all. All these that you can see on the floor here, they were on the banister at the end of the stairs. The keys were kept just on the other side of this door here in that bowl that you can see. Basically, all the car keys were there bar the puntos, so they've been taken. I think the occupants are quite shook up because they had a teenage daughter sleeping in this room and a teenage son sleeping in that room there.
During the nights when we was asleep, they've actually come into the house and took the keys from the hallway. My daughter was staying in the front room. That is quite scary to know that somebody's been, so close to one of your children.
Once they got the keys, they just drove off with a red MG sports car and a blue Vauxhall Vectra. The family also had a third car, which the thieves damaged. A forensic team are at the scene looking for fingerprints.
What we'll do before we leave is give you a booklet, okay, and it's basically, it's called Be Home Safe. It's a security assessment booklet. It might be worth you having a read of that, just for, pointers in relation to what you can and can't do to sort of prevent this happening again as such, okay, wise. Any improvement.
PC Hussain is on hand to assess what can be done to improve the victim's security.
What we'll do, we'll go to the back if that's okay to start with.
Fine.
Thank you.
Let's go. Should we go through the front?
Yeah, please.
And it looks like he has spotted something straight away.
What I would say to you is, at the side where you come to the side of the property, you've got no gate. Even a wooden gate, it doesn't have to be a steel fence, it could be a wooden gate, which just to prevent someone having the ease of access of walking through, something that you can padlock at night to stop someone just walking through. And that's all that would be. Well, I mean, all we need to do
PC Hussain also suggests the family get a burglar alarm.
You've not got a burglar alarm, and that's something, like I say,
we're going to look into, definitely.
That would help immensely. I mean, as soon as someone sees one at the top of the address and it's flashing to say it's active, it's a major preventative sort of tactic to stop people coming into your house.
Police will continue to investigate this crime. They're treating it as serious. Thieves entered the house while the family slept before stealing 2 cars from the front drive.
It's quite a serious crime in all essence. It's privacy which has been invaded, and it's something obviously which does affect people quite personally.
And I'm with PC Shaz Hussein, who you saw from that film, from the Burglary Task Force. Now, there's been some developments since you made that film, hasn't there?
There has. The red MG which was stolen has been recovered. It was recovered 4 a.m. that same morning. It's now been taken in for forensic examination with regards to DNA lifts, etc, etc. However, the Vectra, the blue Vectra which was stolen, is still outstanding.
And did they manage to get any fingerprints or anything like that from the car?
Primarily off the initial investigation by the scenes of crimes officers, it was established that the offenders were wearing gloves at that time. So we're vouching on DNA samples now recovered from the vehicle.
Which can take some time, but it could still happen. Now, if the front door was locked and not broken, then how did the burglars actually get in to steal the car, the keys?
It's believed at this stage that there was a previous incident about 2 months prior to the actual incident taking place where a jacket containing keys, house keys, were stolen. It's possible that those keys may have been used to gain entry for this incident to have taken place.
Very, very sneaky. Now, who are you actually looking for then with this crime?
From an eyewitness who saw the red MG being recovered, being stolen even on that day, it's 2 white males in the Little Hulton area of Salford, in particular a street called Cirencester Drive of that area. Like I say, we're still outstanding a wire edge blue Vectra. Any inquiries in relation to that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, now I know as a burglary task force you are taking this very seriously. Your key aim is to reduce burglary in the area, taking it very, very seriously indeed. We're talking off camera about how seriously, and I do hope you all the best with this inquiry. And if you can help, the number is on your screen, and please do give us a call.
Rav, thank you. And the number is 08000 468 999 or text us 63399. Text CW space and then your message. And don't forget to leave the space or your message doesn't get through. Now, an update on some of the calls we've had in today. A very interesting one on the case that we featured yesterday. Now, this was 18-year-old Adam O'Toole, who was killed 2 years ago in Huddersfield by a hit-and-run driver. Well, we've had a phone call this morning with a possible registration number for the car. This is the sort of car the police think was involved. For the car involved, well, the police are looking into that right now. So let's hope we can get some answers for his mother, Beverly. Rav, though, where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm in Bolton and we'll have the case of a pub landlord who was set upon by masked men in his own car park.
You never consider that when you step outside your front door that something's going to happen to you then. I was about to shut the driver's door when the passenger door opened and this guy jumped in.
Lots more on that tomorrow. Keep your calls coming. The lines are open all day. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9:15. Bye-bye.